Welcome again to this channel. So for this video, I'll be teaching you the three basic symbology types of Arcmap, and I'll be guiding you on how to select the appropriate symbology for your intended use. So first, let's add some maps so that it can work right away. So first, we'll add the provinces, and then we'll have the soil map, and later and then elevation. Okay, so first we'll open the properties of this map, and you can see that the symbology is right here in the symbology tab, and you can see that the current feature or current symbol used here is single symbol, meaning if you can observe with our map, it's actually using just a single symbol, single color and single size of the outline. So these are common. This is a common symbology if your map actually does not intend to show different values of your components or your features, but you can just want to show. You just want to show the boundary, for example, or the placement of things, and not actually the difference between the values with each of these features. Okay, so let us just examine first the attribute table, so the content of this map. So we have here boundaries. Actually, the content of this map is just boundaries. Okay, so if you want to, for example, view different, since this map contains provinces. So for example, if you want to view the different provinces with different colors, so you can also show that. So you go again to properties, and then symbology, and then you will use the categories. And then if you want to show the provinces, you look for the provinces column here. You look for the column that contains province, and then you click that one, and then you can add a color ramp. So in selecting color ramp, make sure to add those appropriate color ramps for your map. So since we just want to show that this province is different from this province, we should select a color ramp that shows distinct colors. Now, not a gradient ramp. This one is a gradient ramp, meaning colors here are connected to each other, so there's actually a relationship between gradients of the color. So the lighter the color means maybe the lighter the value, or the darker the color, the higher the value, or otherwise, or opposite. So let us select a color ramp that shows distinct colors. So for example, this one. Okay, and then you just add all values. You click this one, and there it is. So every province is given a different color set compared to the other, and then you click apply, and you can see there that the colors are changed. But I'm not advising you to use this for just merely showing different provinces. So you can actually name your provinces even if they have the same color, so you can differentiate them by labeling, but that's another lesson. Okay, so if you can see here, when we change the symbology into these different colors, it is also shown here in your table of contents, but you can actually hide this later. Okay, so this is the categorized symbology. We cannot show the quantity symbology here. You can observe there's a quantities tab here, this one. This is graduated symbology. So this is where we can use the gradient ramp, just showing the relationship between the values of your map. So if lighter color again may be represented with a lighter value, or darker colors may be represented with a greater value. So again, I'm not advising you to use this one for just showing different areas, no? But we will add a particular map that we can use this classified or categorized symbology. So this is usually used to show, for example, this one. You can uncheck this one. So for this particular type of map, again, for polygons, what's this? Default symbol is single symbol. Okay, so there's only a single symbol for your map. Okay, so this is the Philippine soil map. And then if we go to attribute table, so always check the attribute table for columns and content. You can see the different soil classification in this particular column, soil description. Okay, so for this map we can use the categorized symbology, because you want to show that this particular soil type is different from this particular soil type. So you just go to categories, and then you look for the soil description column, because this column contains your different classes of soils. And then you can select another color ramp, or you can still select this one and add all values. Because of there's too many soil classifications in this map, we can only load this particular number of classifications. But if you want, for example, to load everything, you have to narrow down your study area. So you can select just certain number of provinces, and then you can show the soil map. Okay, so just click this one, yes, so we'll have a map. And you can also see here the loaded classification. Okay, and then you can click apply. Okay, so that's it. And then click OK if you're okay with this. So if you're not okay with this, you can also select another ramp. For example, you can select this one, the lighter one, and then apply. And then if you're satisfied, you click OK. Okay, so zoom in. You can either make use of these icons here for zooming, or you can use the roller of your mouse. So for example here, these are the different soil types of this particular area. Okay, so now to combine our provinces earlier in our field soil project, you can actually drag these provinces here and this one, and you can change the symbology into a single symbol again. So this is how we do things. You can change this by clicking this one, and then you can change the color. So for these types of maps like boundary showing provinces, what I do usually is to unfill this one, so that later you will find out, and then check change the outline. And then you can also change the line width. For example, you can 1, so that's a thicker boundary line, and then click OK and apply. So you can see here that boundaries are changed, and you can actually see that the areas here, or country map, is now divided into several provinces. So you can now actually see the soil type per province. Okay, so this one is the province of Bukidnon, this one is province of Misamis Oriental, this one is somewhere in Caraga region. So that's how we do things. Okay, so that's a single symbol and categorized symbology. So you can actually change the thickness again to 2, for example, now, and then apply. Okay, so that thicker boundaries. And actually you can just change the symbology by just clicking this one, no? Without going to the properties tab or menu. You can click this one, and then automatically this will come out. So you can change the symbols quickly. You can also change the color, by the way. So let's load another map. to just show how the quantities symbology or graduated symbology is applied. So these are, again, like I've said earlier, if you want to show the relationship between values, and then you can use the graduated symbology. So this time, if you want to use this sample contour, okay, so just uncheck this one. So sample contour, again, the default symbol is single symbol. So let's just see first, let's examine the attribute table. So the attribute table contains different elevation values. So a contour map shows actually the elevation of a specific area in terms of lines. Okay, so every line represents a specific elevation. So these are now the values of elevation. Okay, so again, the column containing elevation is contour. So we can change the symbology by going again to properties, or by just simply clicking this one. And now we go to properties first, so that we can change into quantities. So quantities, and then select for the column. So again, for value, that's where you select the column that contains your data. So maximum size reach, meaning there's too many values. So again, for this for things like this, for maps that contains too many data values, so what you gonna do is to maybe narrow down to a specific area, so that you'll have a more specific area and lesser number of values. Or you can recategorize or reclassify the number of elevation, or the elevation interval. Okay, so for this particular data set, for example, for contour maps, you can either reclassify the elevation interval so that you'll have a lesser number of values, or you can narrow down your area. But then again, for this example, you just click this and then load the value. So this is the particular range of the symbols. Okay, so apply, and let's see what happened. Okay, and then zoom to layer, have a greater view of your map. So this one, huh? So if you zoom into this, actually you can, if you look at this, you can actually see it's like a polygon, huh? But if you zoom into a specific area, it's actually a contour line showing different areas, different lines of elevation. Okay, so that's how to use the graduated symbology. Zoom to layer, just say that, for example, in this particular symbology, the red one is lower elevation, and then the green one is in the higher elevation. Okay, so these are the lower elevation and much higher, and the green colored areas here, this one actually has the highest elevation. So you can also change the interval or the classes. So you can have 10, for example, and then this one will be increased, and classify. Here you can actually also change the range of values. For example, if you want to classify into 10 ranges or 10 classes, you can change the elevation to 0 to 1. We'll have 21 is the lowest elevation, so you can have 21 to 30 perhaps, 21 to 30, and then you have 30 to 50, for example, and then you have 100, then you have 150. So these are the ranges of your elevation now. You have 300, and then the rest you can also manipulate. Click OK, and then so you can see here that the range of values is already changed. You can see apply that one. Okay, so the color also changes now based on your interval. So depending on your interval, so you can change this actually to show specific contour lines or specific elevation, that this area is has this specific elevation, this one has this specific elevation. Anyway, that's the three basic categories. Oh no, that's the three basic types of symbology. You can just change that by going to properties again, and then here you can change those symbols here. So again, the difference is that feature, single symbol. You can use this if you don't want to show any difference between colors, and there's no actually significant difference between their representations, no? Whether you change it into different colors or not. In categories, you want to show the different colors in terms of different values. For example, for soil maps, land cover, that this is forest, this one is built up area. For in terms of soil, this is a clay, this is a sandy soil. So that's where you will use the categories symbol. And then for quantities or the graduated symbol, that's when you use, that's what you use if you want to show the relationship between the values. No? So this area has a lower value. For example, in terms of elevation, this area has a lower elevation. This one has a higher elevation. And take note that all of our layers here are actually vector layers. No? So we have here a line, we have here a polygon and a polygon. So, but the same symbology applies to raster layers. But anyway, we will discuss the difference between a vector layer and a raster layer in our next video. But it's the same. So the process is the same. You go to properties and then you change the symbology. Okay. So by the way, if you can see here in our properties tab, the symbology, we have here graduated symbols. No? So not only graduated colors, but we can also use graduated symbols in showing the different relationship. So for example, this can only be applied for points. So if you want not to show gradient in terms of color, but if you want to show it in terms of size, that the bigger the size, the larger the value. Okay, so you can have another session for that, for points. Okay, so I think that's it for symbology. And again, thank you for watching and thank you for being here.